Equations and Inequalities, handout 7. Solving Inequalities is our title. We're solving one-step inequalities. So inequalities can be solved by following the same steps as equations. So the variable must be alone or isolated on one side of the inequality. Isolate the variable by using inverse or opposite operations. Whatever we do to one side, we must do to the other. So look at it this way. We have n plus 5 is less than or equal to 16. So whatever I do on one side of this symbol, I have to do on the other. So notice it says plus 5. So I have to do the inverse, which is the opposite. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. That leaves n by himself. So n is less than or equal to 11. Okay? Now how do we graph it? First off, we check it. We take out n, we put in 11. 11 plus 5 is less than or equal to 16. 16 is less than or equal to 16. So it works. So we're going to graph it. It has an equal sign, so it's going to be a closed circle. And it has to be less than 11. So that means it has to go this way. And we shade it in. Okay? Excuse me. All right, let's see if I can get some of the shadow off. Let's look at number 2. Didn't work much. We have c minus 9 is greater than 14. So here's our symbol. So whatever I do on this side of the symbol, I have to do on this side. So I'll add 9 to both sides. Okay? That cancels out. That leaves me c is greater than, lost my computer there. Okay. C is greater than 23. So let's check it out. C's got to be greater than 23, so we need a number bigger than 23. We'll use 24. 24 minus 9 is greater than 14. So this is 15 is greater than 14. So it works. So I have to graph this on the number line. Okay? All right, so here's my 23. It can't include 23 because 23 doesn't work, but it can be anything bigger than 23, so I'm going right. Let's check our next one. 12g is less than 48. This is multiplication. So in order to get rid of the multiplication, I have to divide both sides by 12. So that leaves g by himself, and g is less than 4. So we're going to check it. I need a number less than 4. Well, let's use 3. So 12 times 3 is less than 48. That means 36 is less than 48. So that works, right? All right, so I've got to graph this part of my equation. So we're going to let it be an open circle because it doesn't have an equal sign. This is 4. Has to be anything less than 4. Let's look at the next one. Again, it's multiplication. 49 is greater than or equal to 7g. So whatever I do to one side, I do the other. I've got to get this variable by himself. So we're going to divide by 7 on this side this time. We're keeping our symbol. We're dividing this side by 7. 49 divided by 7 is just 7. So that's what we're going to have to graph, but we need to check it. So it can be 7 or larger. So we're just going to use not 7 or larger, 7 or smaller. G has to be smaller than 7. Sorry, G has to be smaller than 7. So if I tried it with 6, 49 is greater than or equal to 7 times 6. 49 would be greater than or equal to 42, which is true. It is greater than 49. So then we got to graph this. Okay, so if I say this is 7, now it's got an equal sign on it, so we're going to make it a closed circle. And G is less than 7, or 7 is going to be greater than the G, so we're going in this direction. Excuse me. All right, let's look at our last two on this page. This is a fraction bar, so it is division. Whatever I do to one, I do to the other, so I have to multiply this side by 3 so I can get P by himself. So I'll multiply this side by 3. So P is greater than 27. So let's check it. All right, a number greater than 27. Where's my things to go now? Okay, greater than 27 is, let's say 10. So, or 30. 30 over 3 is greater than 9. Well, that would be 10 is greater than 9. So it worked. So we got to graph this. There's no equal sign on it, so it's going to be an open circle. And P has to be greater than 27. So we're going right. This is our 27. Next, it's got an addition sign. So we're going to do the opposite of addition. So I'm going to draw my line. So if I subtract 19 over here, I got to subtract 19 over here. So that leaves me X and then the same symbol. 33 minus 19. Let's see, we got to do some regrouping. That's 14. So X is greater than or equal to 14. Or excuse me, 14 is greater than or equal to X. Excuse me. So 14 has to be a bigger number. So let's find a smaller number. Let's say 13. So that means 33 is greater than or equal to, a number less than 14 is 13 plus 9. 13 plus 9 is 32. Okay? Now when we're graphing this, this is 14. It has an equal sign, so we're going to put a solid circle. And it is going to be, the number has got to be less than 14, so we're going to the left to shade it in. This is the next page. The next page says to solve for practice, to roll a pair of die and find the sum of two numbers showing and solve that problem. We're just going to solve the problem. Okay? So we got our show your work here. So if my number, we're going to say number 2. Number 2 is 7x is greater than or equal to 35. So I would have to divide both sides by 7. So 5 is greater than or equal to, excuse me, that should have been an x. X is greater than or equal to 5. Okay. Number 3, draw a line. Plus 6 8/10 is less than 11 2/10. Draw our line. Just going to go this way. We know x is over here. We're subtracting 6 8/10. That cancels out. So this becomes a 12, and he's a 0. We're going to need him, so we'll make it a 10. So that's 4.4. So x is less than 4.4. Okay. Number 4. $16.7. We know it's something's going to be greater. X is going to be greater because we are going to get rid of the 5 by adding 5 to both sides. That leaves me with 21 7/10. So x is greater than 21 7/10. Okay? Let's do 216. We know we got x is going to be less than or equal to something. So I'm going to subtract 14 on this side to get rid of him. Subtract 14 on this side. So it is 2. So x is less than or equal to 2. All right, instead of doing that homework sheet like we do normally, today I'm just going to let you finish this worksheet and then do 7 and 8 and turn it in. And we won't do the other worksheet. Okay? All right. Have a good day.